My name is Lyndon Raunter. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for National Quarries. I just want to welcome everyone. From what I've understood here, we have persons from all over the Caribbean. We have been very proud to have this project here at National Quarries. I mean, we are the largest quarry in Trinidad. This site here is over 2,000 acres. And we have, I think it's over 10% of the land space has been assigned to rehabilitation thus far. We have seen a great transformation of some of the sites to make it into what you see here today, because this here is one of the older sites on the compound for rehabilitation. I know the AMA has been very instrumental in allowing this project to take place in conjunction with IWECO and all the other NGOs that are here on a constant basis. I mean, we have quite a few people on site on a regular basis every day taking part in this project, developing the champions for rehabilitation to go out into the wider community to assist, because I think everyone would be aware, given that this is the quarrying sector, we do have challenges in terms of rehabilitation in some of the other areas. And I mean, what we're doing here is to allow those persons to get the skills to be able to go out and then do rehabilitation in other areas so that we can get this back. I mean, most of us here would have children, and we definitely don't want our children to not be able to see the things that we would have seen while we were growing up. And when we had the Earth Day ceremony a couple of months ago, when we released that parrot, I mean, these are some of the things that we need to get back into here. We have large areas here that have been degraded as a result of the activities that we do and other quarries do. And the work that we're doing here is going to go a long way towards returning the natural habitat to the area.
And I am responsible for a project known as Building on Vetiver, which is funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, their laboratory division. Now, as many of you guys would know, this Phase 2 project began in December of 2019, is when we would have signed on to begin. And prior to that, we would have had the Phase 1 project, which occurred, if I'm not mistaken, in 2018, right? So, following the completion of that project and the little gap that we had in implementing this Phase 2, the Building on Vetiver project really kind of stepped in and kind of looked after the installation that we would have done in the first phase, right? To really make sure that nothing really degraded or stepped down from the interventions that we tried to take part in, right? And in doing that and keeping up that relationship with another project following the end of one, we were successfully able to develop this Phase 2 program. Now, the actual idea that we had, the actual plan or picture that we had in mind for this Phase 2 actually revolved a lot around channeling organic matter, right? So really trying to understand the circular economic model. I'm sure all of y'all will be familiar about that, but the aim was really to channel organic matter away from the landfill into the quarry in a sustainable cycle.
So right now we're basically just pulling out the weeds from in between, but what happens with these vetiver plants is the roots can grow up to like between 10 to 13 feet. So the roots actually, as they grow and they get more stable, they can intertwine when they're planted in this hedgerow formation, and that could act as something of an underground retaining wall, essentially. That could help with the land stability and so on, especially as you can see on the banks of the ponds on site. Take the note on this area as well as when we tested the acidity content, we realized that it was pretty acidic. So what happened is you'll see a lot of these pine trees thriving, but a lot of the trees that we planted initially without any sort of amendments and so on, unfortunately we lost a lot of them. So what we did is we planted some more trees with a bit more amendments and mulching and approaching this area of the site in that fashion. So this is the vetiver nursery that Nick would be speaking a bit more about at the moment. But the reason why this nursery is planted in this manner is essentially so that you can walk through it. So usually, as I mentioned, we plant the vetiver close together to maintain that kind of hedgerow formation. But with the nursery, you can essentially walk through it, it could drop suckers, and you could get new plants. You can notice too, so, there are areas that are soaked with water. So in the wet season, when here gets a lot of rainfall as well, it gets very damp and soaked with water, saturated. And that's something that the vetiver actually also assists with.
Back in 2018, I was just a stay-at-home mom, and I got a flyer or a notice from my neighbors or something that these people were coming in the community to, you know, keep a little meeting, engage the community in something. So I decided to go to the meeting. And when I went to the meeting, there were people such as the EMA movement and such, and they brought forth this idea of rehabilitating the quarry, which is national quarry on this side. So I said to myself, maybe I should try, but as the point Mr. Carlton was making was, at that point in time, they were bulldozing the highway. So I was telling him that we're trying to save the environment right here, so near, and they were bulldozing a stone's throw away. So it was like, I was feeling like we were going to defeat our purpose. So we came to the sessions. It was classroom sessions and practical sessions here where we practiced what we learned in the classroom, such as, well, the vetiver planting, check dams, fire tracing, and all of that. And then later down the line, we had many successes. And then the pandemic came and it became a real struggle. But using the things that we learned from the project during that time, I could testify that it helped me a lot financially because I was able to make mats and baskets and sell them. I was able to participate in planting grow boxes, which also brought an income to my line. So I think that the project was a success to me no matter what, whether the pandemic came or it didn't came, it was successful.
My name is Jonathan Barker. I'm the Managing Director of IWECoTT. IWECoTT is one of the non-profit organizations that has been leading the activities on the ground over the last 4 years. Since 2018, we began in 2018, some may remember it, with a nice big day of caring event that took place with a lot of partners involved, Unit Trust Corporation, Wally Parsons, but all coming together, the main partners, which included Environmental Management Authority, National Quarries, very importantly, but IWECoTT and the Trust for Sustainable Livelihoods have really been the two NGOs that have been on the ground day to day, kind of leading activities over the last 4 years, working alongside these incredible community champions, who I'm sure you've probably heard a little bit about already. So these are community members from Sandy Grande. And it really has been an incredible experience. I mean, you know, I have a lot of friends that have seen degraded lands and talked about the need of Trinidad and Tobago to rehabilitate degraded lands. So as an NGO, it was actually quite exciting when this came onto our radar and we were asked to be part of it. Other colleagues on our team may have already shared, but vetiver grass is a unique plant species that we have used to help restore land, build back topsoil, prevent erosion. And another really important thing we've been doing is channeling organic waste to the quarry as a way to restore. And certain key partners have been instrumental in that, such as the Sandy Grande Regional Corporation, CPEP, and so on. So we're super excited to take that to the next level now. And just want to make a kind of a quick mention of one or two other partners that have joined in. Of course, IWECO has been a key partner that you've heard a lot about. But as we move forward to the next steps, the Pan American Development Foundation also joined us to sort of actually involve migrant communities who've become some of the addition to the champion group of community members that we have involved. So I'm excited to say this is not the end at all. We're now standing in a canopy forest that is the results of that has been led by the Trust for Sustainable Livelihoods. We just had a wonderful talk by Mr. Carlton about how that took place. We learned about the fact that topsoil that gets removed in quarries is an invaluable material that has to be put back and really and truly could result in a 15-foot tree versus a 5-foot tree after 4 years. Lots of lessons learned, but I'm really excited to say that we're definitely in a position, along with other key partners, National Quarries being a main one, to continue taking these activities forward into the years to come.
I'm Carlton Roberts, and I am a long-time forester, being in the field of forestry for 40 years. I'm retired as the Deputy Conservator of Forest. And when I retired, there was an opportunity offered by the IWECO, Integrated Water, Land and Ecosystem Management for the Caribbean small island states. And they brought a proposal to rehabilitate quarried lands. And here was I, retired, have nothing to do. And I jumped at the occasion, not for the money, because there's no set of money in it. It was for the love of the environment. First, we had to convince a group of community people to be part of it. And once we engaged the community, and the people were sold on the idea, because they suffer from dust pollution, they suffer from flooding and the inconveniences, and this whole thing about climate change would have been impacting this community of people. Also, the economic part of it. A lot of people, single mothers, not having jobs and not employable in the first place, they came and we said, look, we will train you in ecology, train you in forest management, train you in environmental conservation. We'll train you and give you meaningful work out in the quarry.
My name is Jan Betlem and I'm the Regional Project Coordinator of IWECO project. And what we see here is really rewilding of what used to be a quarry. So sand and gravel have been mined from here, and the job of the project team was to bring back a vegetation cover as natural as possible. And what they have done here is amazing. Look here, these trees are 4 or 5 years old and they have 6 meters of length. Diversity of forest trees, original in indigenous forest trees have been brought back here in an effort to really integrate water, land and ecosystems. And that is the name of the IWECO project, and also the purpose of the IWECO project, to bring back nature on these degraded lands.
My name is Earl Wilson, Chief Executive Officer of National Quarries Limited. National Quarries was formed over 40 years ago in order to provide aggregates to the construction industry and to the public. At that time, the country was going through its first economic boom, and there was shortage of aggregates in the country. And therefore the state decided to set up national quarries to fill that gap, to produce quality aggregate for use in the construction industry and by extension, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. National Quarries, being a national organization, it is incumbent on them to ensure that what we take out of the ground, that we could return some to the ground, in keeping with both the EMA's requirement and our own responsibility as a state organization. The National Quarries Rehabilitation Project involves preparation of 40 acres of land by the National Quarries for NGO to be able to co-join with us to rehabilitate lands in keeping with the standards of sustainability of the environment.
My name is Hayden Romano, Managing Director of the Environmental Management Authority and Jeff Operational Focal Point. I am so pleased with our progress on our Jeff IWECO project. Our partners, in particular, our project champions, have done us proud. We are leading the way with respect to quarry rehabilitation in Trinidad and Tobago. And we hope, as National Quarries, the state agency has led the way with respect to quarry rehabilitation, that the private sector, as is happening now, will continue to follow. This is something that Trinidad and Tobago needs. We have all been complaining about the degradation of our mined out quarry lands, and now that we have the solution, it's important for all of us to get together to make quarry rehabilitation happen. Not only the state, but the private sector and all us citizens need to join our quarry champions with the rehabilitation of our quarry land.